Okay, for this synchronous lecture, we will be discussing the ellipse. Okay, I've already given a lecture on the parabola. So there we defined the parabola as a locus or a set of points that are equidistant from two geometric objects. And if you watch the video, you know that those two objects would be a fixed point, which is the focus of the parabola, and a fixed line, which is the directrix. Now, for this conic section, the ellipse, okay, we have the definition there on the screen, and to be able to define it, we need two fixed points, which are the foci. Same with the parabola, the fixed point there, we call the focus of the plural form would be foci. Okay, so what is an ellipse? An ellipse, okay, is a set of all points in a plane, the sum of whose distances from two fixed points, again the foci, is a constant. In other words, the sum of distances from the two foci does not change. So let me illustrate in the figure there. Okay, there. So looking at the figure, okay, f and f prime, let's say, are the two fixed points, the foci. And let p and p prime be any two points on the ellipse. Then by the definition, the distance, or rather the sum of distances from the foci, is a constant. So that constant would not change whether we use p or p prime. So for example, if we take p and sum up the distances from the foci, we would have pf and pf prime. If we take p prime, that would be p prime f plus p prime f prime, and that would be a constant. In other words, we would have this sum pf, okay, the length of pf plus the length of pf prime equal to p prime f plus p prime f prime. So in the figure, it would be this plus this equals this plus this. And if we take a third point, we would also have the same sum. That is, we would also have these sums equal to p double prime f plus p double prime f prime. Okay, so again, an ellipse is a set of points equidistant from two fixed points. So actually, those two fixed points would determine a unique ellipse. So let's have just some anatomy. So what is the principal axis of an ellipse? It's the line that passes through the foci. So say these are the foci. Then if we pass a unique line, of course it's unique, we pass a line through those 2 points, then we have the principal axis of the ellipse. Now, what are the vertices? They are the points where the principal axis intersects the ellipse. So in the figure, it would be these 2 points here. Okay, if this is the ellipse, and we draw the principal axis, then the intersection points would be these 2 points. They are the vertices. Now for the major axis, it's simply this line segment here, whose endpoints are the vertices. So the only difference between the principal axis and the major axis is that the principal axis is a line, which is just this line segment extended in both directions, while the major axis is just a line segment, again, whose endpoints are the vertices of the ellipse. the center of the ellipse would be the midpoint of this axis here. Now, it's not necessarily like the center of a circle where all points on the circle are equidistant from the center. Okay, it's simply defined to be the center of the major axis. Now, what is the minor axis? It's in the figure, this one here. You see that its endpoints are on the ellipse, okay, and it passes also through the center and perpendicular to the center. Okay, so that is the minor axis, the line segment passing through the center, perpendicular to the major axis, and whose endpoints are on the ellipse. And by the way, the endpoints of the minor axis are called the covertices. Okay, just like for the major axis, its endpoints are the vertices. Okay, here. Just some notations. Okay. These what they call this values A and B would help us define or write down an equation of a particular ellipse. So in the figure here, what is A? A is the distance between the center and a vertex. So there are two vertices. So the distance of the center from either vertex is the same. So we just denote that by A. So in the figure, this would be A here and this one. So that the major axis has length 2A. Now, similarly, we define B, the distance of the center from a co-vertex, so that the length of the minor axis is 2B. C, similarly, as with parabolas, the focal distance, the distance between, actually there for parabolas, it's the distance of the vertex from the focus, which is unique. The focus of a parabola is only one. And so we can just define it to be from the vertex. But for ellipses, since we have two foci, then we define it simply as the distance of the center, okay, not the vertex or a vertex of the ellipse, but the center of the ellipse from a focus. Either focus would give us the focal distance. So in the figure, it would be this one or this one. So this is the center. These are the foci. So the distance from the center to a foci is the focal distance, again denoted by C. Now, we can actually show the following. Oh, by the way, note that A is greater than B by definition. Since A is the 2A is the length of the major axis and 2B is the length of the minor axis, and the major axis is always greater in length than the minor axis, and that's why we call it the major axis. So A should be greater than B. Just take that, take note of that. Now it can be shown that C squared equals A squared minus B squared. This equation relates all three constants, A, B, and C. And we won't be proving that, of course. Also, it can be shown that the fixed sum of distances in the definition of an ellipse, remember, the sum of distances from a point on the ellipse from the foci is a constant. So it would be in the figure here, D1 plus D2. That constant sum of distances, it's a constant, but it can be shown to be actually equal to 2A, which is the length of the major axis. Again, we won't be proving that. So now we go to equations of an ellipse. And as I have said in the previous lecture, all that you are required to know is how to identify whether a given equation is an equation of a parabola, of an ellipse, or a hyperbola. So we won't be doing all the exercises I have actually given there in the handouts or our modules. So rather, I will just be teaching you in this lecture how to use the technique of completing the squares in order to identify the graph of the equation. And of course, in this example, we expect it to be an equation of an ellipse. But first, let's look at the general or how the equation of an ellipse looks like. Okay, we have the following. Observe in the table that if the center is at the origin, then its equation is given by either x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1, or x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1. And we have this equation if the major axis is horizontal, and that happens when a squared is under x squared. And note that a squared is always the greater value of among the two. Okay, a squared and b squared. Now, if a squared, the greater value, falls under y squared, then its major axis would be vertical, and its equation would be like this, okay? Given the center is at the origin. Now, more generally, if the vertex, or sorry, been calling it the vertex, rather the center, if the center of an ellipse is at some general point whose coordinates are hk, then we simply replace x by x minus h, y by y minus k, and we get the equation of an ellipse with center at hk. Now it would be again horizontal, its major axis, if the greater value a squared is under the variable x, and vertical if the greater value a squared is under the variable y. So let's just see this with an example. Okay, sketch the graph of the ellipse with the given equation and find the coordinates of the foci. However, since we have omitted a lot, okay, so we won't be doing that part, finding the coordinates of the foci. Let me just, at least for your information, show you how to sketch the graph of an ellipse. It's really easy. All you need is the center and the length of the major and minor axis, then you would be able to quickly draw the ellipse. So, well, this will not come out in the quiz, in the departmental quiz, but for your enrichment or for your information, I have included this, okay, in this video. So the equation is already in standard form. So right away we can tell, okay, sorry, we can tell what the coordinates of the center. So we equate each factor to 0, we know the center to be at -2, 5. Now again, a is the greater value, so a would not be over 4, but the over 9 there, rather a squared equals 9. So a is 3. B would be the smaller value, so b squared equals 4, so b equals 2. So we know that the length of the major axis is, okay, twice this value, so 6, and the length of the minor axis would be twice this value, so 4. The major axis is vertical. Why? Because the greater value is under y. So let's show the graph. We begin by locating the center of the ellipse, which is negative 2, 5, this point here. And then we move 3 units in the vertical direction because the major axis is vertical. So we have the points negative 2, 8, 3 units up, negative 2, 2, 3 units down. So just add 3, 5 plus 3, 5 minus 3. And okay, 2 points here can be found by moving, or these are the co-vertices, these are the vertices. So you move 2 units in the vertical direction. So that we have the points negative 4, 5. So subtract 2, and then 2 units to the right, add 2 to the x coordinate. So you get 0, 5, and then you just connect the 4 points there to get the sketch of the ellipse. So there. Now we won't be discussing how to get the foci. So let's skip this part. So now let's just learn how to identify if an equation is an equation of an ellipse, a parabola, or a hyperbola. Well, obviously, this should be an equation of an ellipse because we're in this topic. But let's convert that equation in standard form, and we'll see that's indeed an equation of an ellipse. So of course, we complete the squares. So we transpose first the constant to the other side, and then we get this equation and factor out the coefficients of x squared and y squared. So for x squared, we factor out 4. So we'll have x squared minus 6x. By the way, group the x's and group the y's. And then factor out the coefficients of x squared and y squared. So 4 times x squared minus 6x for this group. And then 36 times y squared minus 4y for this group. Just factoring out 36. And then we make these perfect squares. So we add 9 to this one. So divide this by 2 and square. Divide this by 2 and square, so add 4. And then what you add to the left, you also add to the right. But don't forget, you have to distribute the 4 and the 36. So you have to add 4 times 9 and 36 times 4 to the right-hand side. Again, 4 times 9 and 36 times 4 to balance the equation. So we have, upon factorization, 4 times x minus 3 squared plus 36 times y minus 2 squared equals 9. So this 9 is this one, if simplified. However, to make this look like in standard form, we have to have a 1 here. So to do that, we just divide everything by 9, obviously. So dividing both sides by 9, we get this 1. So 4 over 9, then 36 divided by 9, we have 4. And finally, we should have all the constants under or on the denominator. So we divide by the reciprocals of the constants appearing here, 4 over 9 and 4. Getting x minus 3 squared over 9 over 4, which is just the same as times 4 over 9, and then y minus 2 squared over 1 over 4, which is just the same as 4, equals 1. So we have the general form here in standard form. And note that if we write it in this form, we would be able to identify the center as well as give the values of A and B. So that we would have, okay, the center at 3, 2, equate these two factors to 0, we get the center 3, 2. And then to get A and B, we first determine which is the greater value. So it's 9/4. So this would be a squared. So a is 3/2. The smaller value would be for b squared. So b squared equals 1/4. B equals 1/2. And we would be able to tell the orientation of the major axis. It's horizontal because the greater value is under the x variable. However, for the quiz, you do not need to learn how to determine A and B. Okay, so it's enough for you to know how to convert from general form to standard form. Okay, no need to discuss how to get the foci. For the practice exercises, I just want you to write the equation of the ellipse or given ellipses in standard form, as in the previous example, and just give me the center. And for your sake also, it would be better if you know how to determine the orientation of the ellipse. So determine the orientation as well. No need to find the vertices and the length of the axis or major and minor axis and the vertices and co-vertices. Okay, so just write in standard form, give the center and the orientation of the major axis of the given ellipses. That's it.